My morning, my midnight, I speak to you in a quiet hush the world will never fully hear, a softness carried in the chambers of my guarded heart. Even when duty surrounds me like brocade woven of tradition and expectation, your presence winds through the fabric of my thoughts with a tenderness I cannot name aloud. When dawn creeps through the palace windows, gilding the stone with rose gold warmth, I imagine your breath stirring the veil of light as though you command the day to rise with gentleness. I hold that secret warmth close, letting it bloom even when distance stretches its measured lines between us. You are not a rebellion. You are a truth that harms no one, a truth that lifts me toward the horizon. In the deep stillness, before morning bells, I whisper promises to the air, promises that you will never hear, yet promises I never break. My steps through corridors, my gestures at ceremonies, my words shaped for nations, each of them quietly textured by the remembrance of you, by the way you anchor me beyond crown and protocol. You are my beginning, my balance, my first breath of solace, my midnight, my morning. There are hours when night presses close against the stained glass windows, turning the world into shifting sapphire and obsidian. And in that quiet, I feel you more keenly than sunlight allows. The moon scatters silver across marble floors, and I follow its gleam as though it were a trail carved by your unseen hand. I imagine you standing there at the end of that pale ribbon of light, waiting with a gaze that softens the weight of ancestry resting upon my shoulders. Though I walk within walls steeped in centuries of stories and vows, I find myself writing a newer tale in the pulse of my own longing, one where your name loosens the stiff brocade of responsibility and lets me breathe like an ordinary soul craving an extraordinary love. I am not naive to the distance between your world and mine, but even that distance shivers when I think of you. As the clock tolls midnight, each chime feels like a question. Who am I beyond what history asks of me? And the answer rises steady and warm. When I think of you, I am simply myself. Morning unfurls again, wrapping the sky in creams and apricots, and I lift my thoughts toward you with a gratitude that needs no ceremony. The first rays touch my face, as though they trod another day, as they have traveled a long road from your hands, brushing gently at my cheeks, urging me awake. These tender fictions, imagined though they may be, hold more truth than most counsels whispered behind oak doors. For in you I find a clarity unburdened by titles. In you I find the courage to dream not only for my country, but for the quiet corners of my heart. I move through formalities with practiced grace, yet within me there is a garden you water without knowing, petals of hope, stems of laughter, blossoms of future moments I dare to believe might someday bloom into reality. My advisors speak of alliances, of strategies, of futures planned like chessboards. But the future I quietly chart is softer, built on the idea of walking beside you, without the world watching, without history leaning on every breath. My morning, you brighten places sunlight never reaches, even when you stand far beyond my grasp. Midnight returns with its velvet hush, and again I find myself attuned to the calm rhythm of your imagined nearness. The stars feel like confidants scattered across the darkness, like clandestine letters exchanged between our two hearts, not written in ink but woven in starlight. If I could climb to the highest turret and speak to the sky, I would tell those distant fires to carry my voice to you, to slip into your dreams with the softness of a promise unspoken. Every shadow in these long corridors reminds me that a duty sometimes demands solitude, yet your memory curls into those shadows like a lantern's glow. How strange that a single thought of you can span distances that protocol cannot bridge. Night deepens and the cool air grazes my skin with a reminder of how alive longing can be. But longing is not sorrow, it is a tether to possibility, a quiet vow that whispers through my midnight hours. And though I may rise tomorrow to a world of expectations, tonight I rest in the gentleness of the future I imagine when I think of you. Morning glides back in, soft and sure, carrying with it the familiar quiet of hope. I walk through courtyards brushed with dew, each step echoing in the early stillness, and I wonder if somewhere you are stepping into your own morning, unaware that your existence steadies mine. The scent of blooming citrus hangs in the air, sweet and delicate. It stirs memories of brief encounters, of fleeting glances, of conversations layered with meaning beneath the polite exterior. These small fragments shape themselves into constellations inside me, guiding me through decision after decision with a strength I did not know I possessed. I am told that a sovereign must think beyond emotion, must see the world with measured eyes. Yet, how can I deny that my clearest sight comes from the way you remind me what it means to be human, to be vulnerable, to be willing to expose the fragile truths that power often conceals. Morning light does not ask for permission to illuminate. It simply does. And in the same way, my affection for you grows quietly, insistently, asking nothing yet, giving everything. Midnight holds a different kind of truth, one shaped not by clarity, but by reflection. In the soft dimness, my thoughts unwind from the complexities of the day, and you rise among them like a melody returning to its refrain. I trace the edges of my own heart with tentative fingers, discovering again how deeply your unseen presence has etched itself there. This palace, with its ornate ceilings and echoing halls, often feels too vast, too cold, too heavy with legacy. Yet when I think of you, warmth spills into its corners, transforming stone into sanctuary. I wonder if you know the power you hold, the kind that doesn't command armies or sign decrees, but the kind that can steady a pulse, quiet an anxious mind, ignite a future. I close my eyes and imagine your voice threading through the dark, shaping gentle promises the world would never allow us to speak aloud. I know the path ahead of me is lined with duty, but the night reminds me that love is not contradiction. It is the compass that points me back to myself. Morning breaks once more, luminous and unhurried, settling over the rooftops like a blessing. I rise before the attendants knock, savoring these solitary moments when I can think of you without interruption. Outside, the gardens flutter awake, petals unfolding, birds stitching songs into the air, fountains whispering old secrets. Amid this gentle awakening, I feel the pulse of my own hopes moving with quiet determination. You are woven into every imagined future I allow myself to touch. Futures built not on grandeur, but on simple moments, sunlight on shared tea, laughter echoing against stone walls, an unguarded smile that needs no explanation. They say a crown demands sacrifice, that to love freely is a luxury I must measure carefully. But I cannot see love as a burden. I see it as the morning's gift, the reminder that even a princess is allowed her heartbeat. And though I may walk into the day with composure etched into my every gesture, beneath that practiced ease lies an unbreakable truth. You make the world feel closer, softer, reachable. Midnight silence folds around me like a velvet embrace, and I sit by the window, watching the faint glow of lanterns in the distance. The city sleeps, yet I remain awake, not from worry, but from the sweet ache of remembering you. There is a kind of peace only night can offer, a peace that allows me to admit how profoundly you have shaped the quietest parts of me.